Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Christine Robbins, CEO, BodyMedia.
Good morning. Hopefully you've all had a bit of caffeine. I'm the CEO of BodyMedia, and Rob asked me to just give a quick update about where BodyMedia is today and where we see this market for wearable sensors going, because as a 14-year-old company, we've been at this for quite a long time, and we talked a lot here today and yesterday about wireless health and connected health, and certainly a key part of that is sensors and what wearable sensors can do. So let me just give you a quick overview of what BodyMedia is and where we see the space going. She told me the green button. Not that green button. Can you give me a hand, Molly? Advance the next slide. So quickly, what is BodyMedia? When I think about BodyMedia, when I describe it to people, I describe it as a wearable sensor company combined with a very clinically proven analytical engine that today, yes, is more commercialized in applications that help people understand and manage obesity and weight management, but on a much smaller scale, we've done a lot of work with diabetes, CHF, COPD, et cetera. And we're looking in the future to move into some of those spaces in a much larger scale. You can quickly read this list, but some of the highlights about BodyMedia, we started in the clinical medical space and expanded in the consumer space about 5 years ago. We are essentially the only FDA-registered product in the platform or in the market today. And one that's not up there, and I'm very happy to announce, is this month, we announced that we were just acquired by Jawbone. And combined with their expertise in consumerism and wearable sensors, combined with our clinical status, we think it's a real powerhouse in the market to be. How do we do this? We think about our sensor technology that's worn on the upper arm as a way to capture data off of essentially the largest organ in the body, and that's your skin, at very, very finite levels. So we have a series of sensors, a 3-axis accelerometer, combined with 3 physiological sensors that help us get a real clinical, precise measurement of what's going on with the body. We're soon going to introduce continuous heart rate off the arm as well. But what that data gives us is 5,000 data points a minute off the body through those sensors. You want to talk about big data? We've got big data. 6 months usage, 18 hours a day, longitudinally for 14 years, we've got data, and we know what to do with it, which is basically the foundation of the company, which is our analytical capabilities. A lot of people don't know this, but BodyMedia was actually formed. The starting CEO was a PhD in machine learning and artificial intelligence. So in a sense, the hardware was just a means to gather data to feed that engine. And so what we see in the market today is a real need for the analytical capabilities that we have, and we're starting to build on that. And then, of course, we pair it with software so that people can see what they're doing. What's going on in the market space, you guys have all seen some of this data about where wearable sensors are going. This scares me, and it excites me all at the same time. It excites me because the market has finally realized what we've known for 14 years. If you notice, the first data on this is 2010. We've been doing this since 1999. But what scares me about it is there's an awful lot of data that starts to be generated off of this. And if we leave it in a state where it's just data, where it's just siloed off of these devices, it does nothing to help solve the healthcare problem and bring solutions to both payers, providers, and patients, and consumers in the end. So this is the problem that BodyMedia is trying to tackle now with where we're going with our product. So imagine for a moment, if you will, being able to take a series of sensors and information gathered off the mobile phone that helps you understand your day, where you are, what you're doing, what you like to do, and creates basically a life log. And we're partnered with a company called ARO out of Seattle that's created an app called Saga that does just that. But when we started talking to them, we said, look, you're missing a really important last inch from what goes on here to what goes on here. So what is the physiological response about what's going on in your life? Are you stressed? Are you tired? Are you fatigued? Are you dehydrated as you're going through all these activities? And what insights can we give people to help improve the quality of life in a very simple, passive manner? It takes very, very powerful analytics and the collection of this data off these sensors to do it. And the partnership that we're forging with ARO, we think will start to do something like that. So watch your Google alerts in the future for something really exciting here. Let's take this into the diabetes space. I talked a little bit that we've been, I wouldn't call it puttering, but we've been playing in the diabetes space for over 5 years. This is an example of what we've come to learn when we pair glucometer data with physiological sensor data, we can start to provide new predictions, new insights, and context for a diabetic. So for instance, this particular diabetic patient happens to be subject number 403. We can see that there's actually an inverse relationship between their levels of glucose and what's going on with their heat flux and heart rate variability. Okay? So just think about what we can help this patient do in terms of starting to make predictions and give them the context. This particular patient, however, subject number 402, has a different relationship. What we found with this patient over time is that there's a direct relationship between their changes in their levels of glucose and their sleep duration and heart rate. So two different subjects, two different analytical capabilities to help this patient understand what's going on. So you can imagine with this type of analytical capability and data, when we put it together in one place, we can start to provide diabetics insights to better manage their condition and help them improve their quality of life. And so we've started to partner with the likes of Telcare. You guys have heard from Jonathan over the last day or so. And so as a Gen 1, just to get this physiological lifestyle data paired with the glucometer data is a great first step. And then the next generation can be, how can we apply great analytics to help that diabetic better self-manage? So some really powerful stuff that we're excited to start focusing on. So as a company, how do we start to do this? Over the last 2 years, we've been taking the sweet spot of our company, which I told you is actually the analytics, wrapping a number of things around it. So in order to feed this analytic engine, we have to get other data in. So not just our device data, but we need to bring in weight scale data, we need to bring in blood pressure cuffs, glucometer data. So we build APIs to do that. We've also got ways to port that data out into other software applications or our own applications if needed. And then we've surrounded it with obviously a variety of user interfaces, professional access software that allows a caregiver, a coach, a physician to access that data, an expert feedback system and content management system that we can apply some of the predictions and capabilities that we have out of that analytic engine, and the ability to customize that feedback system for our customers. So in summary, where we see the space going and where we as BodyMedia and now as a joint merger acquisition with Jawbone, where we see the space going is shifting from just talking about data to talking about translating that data into insights and teachable moments, to taking the conversation from action. I don't care about how many steps you take, and I don't necessarily care about how many downloads. We want to take the conversation and the products and solutions to real outcomes, clinically proven outcomes. That's what we've been built on. That's what we think makes the difference. We don't want to just talk about wearable sensor data. We want to be talking about a holistic approach that brings in a number of factors and information for a caregiver, physician, patient, consumer to help manage whatever it is important to them at that point in their life. And lastly, we don't want people to make choices. Don't want to have to choose between this device or that device or this solution and that solution. We want to partner with many companies, like all of you in this room, to provide integrated solutions that are flexible, simple, and impactful for consumers. Thank you.